All right. Enough with all that. Here we are. What's up, everybody? We're a little early. Just kind of hanging out. We'll do a little preamble. Sounds a bit shit. Sound good now? Okay. I was just testing out the... there's a system audio capture, and I was like, it's a good day for music. But it is apparently not a good day for music. Mic audio is great. Okay, excellent, guys. We'll stick with the mic. Get on here, do some test runs with the audio, mess around with it. I would love to have some music. But let's just hang out for a bit. We're early. Not going to start the show officially yet. I feel like people that show up at 3 and see that I've covered all the intro stuff will be like, what? So that's cool. We'll just hang out. Hope you guys are doing well. Everyone alive, surviving. Crypto. Crazy week. Admittedly anxious. You see that market cycles chart. You're like, is this the anxiety phase? Yep. Yeah, wrecked. Yeah, man. It's going pretty well today. Like, I had a moment of clarity recently. I think, so, okay, let's start with so first of all, what I've been doing is just focusing on Bitcoin. Crazy turmoil in the market. You're not going to have too many alts that are able to break free of that. Certainly not in any kind of sector-wide rally. And there will be moments for that. There's been a lot over the last few months. So I'm not like forcing that right now. It's just not there. And when things get crazy, you get sort of a flight to safety, which in this case is Bitcoin or cash. But generally, I feel like Bitcoin will recover first, and then that'll give permission to everything else to recover if it does. So that's why my focus has been entirely on Bitcoin for the most part, except for a few other coins. And so this was my initial setup. You guys know I talk about this setup a lot. After you get like a huge nuke dump, you follow price back up, and then I look for, let's get over here, and then I look for this kind of price action, like a retest into the reload zone, and that's my long. Well, it came in beautifully on Solana, ETH, like pretty much every coin had this, where it tested the lows again, except Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't even make it there. It made it to the pump chaser zone. Now, I did fill one there, but I had orders for like 4 or 5 times as much here. Didn't fill. No big deal. And then we're up here. We're testing 42, and I'm like, oh, the short squeeze is coming. And so I picked some up through here. Nothing crazy, but, I did a little adding. And so then when this sold off, I was like, what am I doing? Now I'm just chopping myself up. Already, obviously, seeing a drawdown in the portfolio. Don't really need to add to that by trying to overtrade some uncertain moments and chop. And that's kind of how I felt this morning, after the other China news came, which, same old, China. If you're around in 2017 Classic, we'll take a look at that fractal. It's kind of interesting. Someone pointed out very similar look. Doesn't mean we'll get the same result, which was up and away weeks later, but that was like a 9-day FUD. So let's see how long this one lasts. Now, so when this broke down, I sold this pitiful throwback, like the little bits of Bitcoin that I picked up here, because I just thought, we broke a level. And I'm not confident that this is a pump chaser zone kind of market. Right now, it's like everyone's on their knees. They're fearful. So if I can get this, I have to fill back. I have to trade my setup. I don't have to go all in and be stupid, but so that's like the moment of clarity I had this morning. I was like, relax. This, it didn't happen here. Well, maybe that was too early. That's a 15-minute chart, On a more reasonable time frame, like the 4-hour, you get your bounce up and a couple days of anxiety, and then you get a little wow. And that can be an absolutely outstanding fill. And it's a very hard one to take because it's always super counter to whatever the emotion is at the time. You're either shorting euphoria in a short reload zone at the highs, or you're longing, whatever you want to call this, fear, panic, depression. It's not really depression. Depression comes months later if we go down. So I've got to take this, I think. And I'm not trying to size up, leverage it, make it all back in one. But I'm definitely going to sprinkle in some Bitcoin bids here, and I have. See, I've got my alerts set. So that's kind of where I'm at. And it's like, is it simple as that? Do I need to complicate it? I mean, look at Bitcoin dominance. God, this is all the stuff we're going to cover on the show, so I shouldn't get too far into it. Hey, guys. What's up, 88? on TradingView. Hello. Hello from France. Florian, good to have you, man. Alive but fucked up, not selling my bottom bought spot yesterday. Yeah, Jonesy, that's how I felt. I was like, yeah, I picked up at 29,150. I literally put the bottom in on FTX BTC USD, and that's a breaking point I need to remind everyone of every time I meet them, even at places where people don't crypto. I'll walk in, I'll be like, hey, did you know I put the bottom in one time on Bitcoin? What the fuck is Bitcoin? Get away from me. But I'm going to do it because it's special. Anyways, I didn't sell that. I bought some higher up, like 33, 34 on the way up because I was salty I didn't get my complete fill. Yeah, I didn't sell it all at 42 and 41 or whatever, 41 and a half. I did sell some at like 39 and 40 on the way up, just thinking like scalp it. But yeah, definitely didn't capture. And I had a nice long on Solana yesterday. Then Coinbase announcement came out and I was like, and then I sold it at like a small gain this morning on the drawdown. I was like, I feel dirty. I feel dirty. Jack Alfonso, me too, man. Despite saying I just sold some, I couldn't sell all of it. I have the remainder of what I originally bought back in like the $1 to $4 area, and it's just kind of sitting there. I really should erase it from my portfolio because I really just don't ever want to sell it. At least not to like $100. Go buy something nice. Look at BTC USD, ETHUSD, Binance. I think BTC takes control too. Yeah, totally, man. I'm with you. Like, I'll tell you this. Regardless of up or down in the next little bit for Bitcoin, let's just work from that. I think alts suffer here. I just do. And I know the decoupling narrative, and I'm a big proponent of it. I'm a fan of it. I think there's going to be room for lots of coins to break free of Bitcoin at some point. But humans are humans. And alts are riskier. They're higher volatility. They're lower liquidity. They are not the rock that is Bitcoin. And if you see where Bitcoin dominance is, you got to ask yourself, well, if that's going to rally back, then yeah, maybe alts go up flat or up a little bit with USDT. But are they going to outpace Bitcoin? I don't know. So I'm kind of in like change over to Bitcoin mode. Now, I still have quite a few altcoins. But my like trade stack that I have on, God, FTT's at $36. Ugh. My trade bag that I have on exchanges that's kind of like aping around, that's all cash or Bitcoin right now. And a little bit of Ethereum, I lied. I have a percentage of Ethereum. Suddenly, it's actually a big percent. And then just like refresh your portfolio day. It's always just like another tick down. 5 figures. How's it sound if I remove it? That's seriously impressive, though. Fair play. Yeah. Married to my soul bag. Yeah. Thanks, Jonesy. I thought so. That's why I tweeted out after. I was just like that funny meme of the guy standing in the corner, like, they don't know that I did this cool thing. It's good times. On a macro scale, do you think that alts are done? Time for BTC down to rise? Yes, I do. It's exactly what I think. ETH DeFi chopping around during the alt season. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? There's lots of reasons why I wouldn't, but times like now where it's chaos and it's fear, and I think simplifying is best, and a historical precedent that we have infinitely throughout the history of crypto is that Bitcoin is the rock. And while I believe we will decouple from that in coming years, months, weeks, probably months and years, I don't think we have yet. So I'm just going to go with what the market has told me. Hello from Pak. Is that Pakistan? Welcome, man. Over on TradingView. What's up? We're about ready to go here. 2:52. Oh, still 8 minutes. Just wait till BTC dominance rises, and then it would be too late. Exactly. And yeah. Now, yeah, we're going to get into this a little later, guys. This is a really tough area for a lot of people making big decisions. Generally, it's an area you don't really want to have to make big decisions. And it goes back to why we talk about things like taking profit, paying yourself, putting money in the bank. And the sad thing is most people are not at a level that they want to do that yet. Even if they made some big gains, they let some go. They're like, oh, just one more, I can do this. And then they don't take enough or any. And then on days and weeks like this, they're stuck with this really tough decision, which is like, do I do it now? Like, you know, if I put in 5K in January and I went up to 50 and it's not the 500 that I wanted. Now from that 50, I'm down to 22. Do I take out 5K just to be like, hey, it's free now, 15K left? It sucks, but I'm not advocating anyone to buy or sell anything ever, and certainly not rushing to be like, today's the day to suddenly take profit. But if you haven't taken any and your initial is still in there at risk and you still have a whole bunch of profit baked in, you'll start thinking about that, and people will sell. And that's the scary thing about bear markets, whether we're in one or not. This is just a little pullback for now, a big pullback, but it does have the markers of the starting of a trend shift for sure. Obviously, I don't think that takes a scientist to see that. But that's the scary thing, right? Like, how many people do you know, maybe you're one of them, that showed up in the last 2 to 5 months, maybe 8 months even, during like the last little bull in the summer, and you just showed up because the number go up and you wanted to buy and you wanted to see number go up? Well, that crowd will dump at any price if number is not going up. They're probably dumping right now. So we are filled with a market. The market is flooded with that kind of money that will exit at any loss if they don't think they can make it back. And let's be honest, most people don't. Today sounds like doomsday. China banned Bitcoin mining. So yeah, if you haven't been through anything bearish, hold on to your butts, because it gets ugly. But the good news is it's like the market's not going anywhere. And again, for what it's worth, my long setup is going to actually fire here over the weekend, maybe. So this is a level that I am going to buy Bitcoin. And it's like, it stings in your gut when you do that, because all your emotions, all your logic, like everything you feel like just says like, get the fuck out. Oh, it's going down again, don't. But that's the spring. That's the reload zone. That's the local place where price may just be the final shakeout for this leg. And so I think, for what it's worth, that no matter what we do, we've got to squeeze up first. And then maybe we have a bear market. And this is where that debate takes place, up in these levels, wherever they are. The problem is, like, sometimes it's just so fucking bearish, you don't get them. Oh, one throwback and we're done. But I got to keep the faith. I still remember just a few weeks ago when everyone was rah, 100K by the end of the year. And I know that sentiment is just lingering on the back of people's minds. And for most people, all they need is a nice 10K 1 week rally to get back in the mood. I know. Jack Alfonso, we're going to talk about that today too. There is immense FOMO going on for people who want to buy altcoins because they're on sale. And that's not a bad mentality to have. It's very easy to ape into things when they're going up. It's actually quite advanced on the overall thing. Like it's one step in from total noob to be thinking on these days like, oh, I want to buy that. That's down. We'll get into that. The psychology in the market is fascinating. But all things, TLDR for this little preamble before we start the show is that the market is not going anywhere. It's just not. China can ban Bitcoin. Bitcoin could shut down. That would suck a lot. But like, there's literally nothing, no single event that could kill this market. This market won't be going anywhere. And so if it's going to cycle this way or that way for this many months or that many months, it's still going to be here. And I'm a trader, so I'm going to be here. And capital preservation, as always, is the number one rule. Now, I've experienced about a 25% drawdown on my portfolio, maybe a little bit more since the highs. And that's really disappointing. I'm a little disappointed in myself because I do trade two sides of the market, and I did have short setups firing on ETH and Bitcoin at 59K and 41.21, and I didn't take them. I don't know why. Missed one, skipped the other, a little bit complacent, literally why they call it the complacency rally. So I didn't make money on the way down or protect my capital. So I kind of slapped myself on the wrist. Got caught just kind of being too casual about it, like this kind of assumption that, oh yeah, this will be full bull all year, which it very well may be, because this dip, we'll look at it in a sec, this dip looks an awful lot like September 4th, 2017, which was not the top. Whew, lots going on. Hit the like for RT. Thanks, man. Jerome. Save me saying it. Appreciate that, man. Throw some likes. Throw some, love. We are really close to 5,000 subs, which is, a big fun round number for guys like me who have been working hard trying to build this channel. So if you haven't already and you just, like me, and you go on YouTube and you don't sub to anything, I do that. So I get it. But if it's all the same to you and you want to hit subscribe, I know sometimes then they're like, oh, you got to sign in, and then I don't know a password or something, and I just like, But if you want to take that leap, then sub to the channel. Hit us at 5K so I can present it to the team next week and be like, look, we did it. We made it. Love you forever. All right, let's get into the top of the show here. We're coming up on 2:58. That's good enough for me. We got 1 full hour of juice. If you've been here for the last 15 minutes, you're going to hear a little bit of repetition because I want to get through some of those thoughts with the full crowd. But let's get into it. Just following the chat here. Yeah. Oh, I know. September 17th. Ugh. I was a lot newer back then and didn't know any better and got super scared. Feels good to sell sometimes during these moments, like this big dip, and you're just like, oh, and then your anxiety goes away because you're like, no more down, no matter what, I've got this. And that is so counter to like making money in the market. Just like when you're feeling FOMO on an up rally and you just buy it and then you're like, oh, finally I'm in, don't have to worry about it. And then a week later it rugs you and you're like, oh, there was a dip coming, I should have waited. So it's like the reverse right now. So I can't really bring myself to sell anything I haven't sold already. I sold some at the 42 breakdown on Monday before the big old dump to consolidate my bags into Bitcoin or into Tether so I could buy some more size, like concentrated bets on Bitcoin. But anyways, okay, let's get started. I'll share everything I can with you guys. We'll talk strategies. We'll talk about what you shouldn't do or should do behavior-wise, not investment advice. Getting into all that in just a second. I'll be right back. Welcome everybody, Hxro Labs Live. It's Friday. My name is Random Task. RT is the handle I go by. My real name's Colin. So I already know that because that's what they call me on DeltaFi all the time. They doxed me. So anyways, what's up guys? RT here in the studio, surviving, enjoying the week less than I did previous weeks because it's just less fun. Number go up is the most fun. But what I always tell you guys is we'll be here through it all. We'll be here through the storm. We were here through DeFi summer. We were here through the depression phase of DeFi coins. We were buying up some names off the lows. It takes months sometimes for those to come in. And so we're going to talk today about strategies that I am employing, mistakes that I have made that I will air out right here on air so that everybody else can save a few bucks, perhaps not repeating them. We'll talk a little bit about historical precedents with China. What they're doing over there. Is there a misinterpretation of what they're doing, or is it exactly right and we should be terrified and we're definitely in a bear? So even if we miss a squeeze up, we should just get out because in 3 months we can buy it at 20K. I don't know. But we're going to get into some strategies around how we can face these existential questions we have as traders, as investors, as speculators, as moon boys. And if you're in here and you're a bear, get out. No, I'm just kidding. Bears are making money right now, and that's the way it should be, There should be two sides of the market. There needs to be. As you guys know, I did share a really perfect fucking Ethereum short on stream. I think on stream last week, and I didn't take it. So there's my mistake number one. Setting alerts, setting alerts at key levels, and then just having the conviction. I think some of my thinking, like one of my mistakes, we'll start off with a mistake or two. Then we'll get into China. We'll get into those behaviors and strategies, and then we'll look at some charts. First off, trying to make it all in one trade. I tend to enjoy taking size on a position. I like the big numbers, and I think I got addicted to them. Make a big gain on this, make a big gain on that. Suddenly making 2K in a day doesn't feel good. That's absurd. I can't believe I just said that out loud. This time last year, I was working half-time as a teacher, half-time as a trader. You know how much I was making as a teacher? $160 a day. I was working half-time, actually, so 80 after tax Canadian. So a 2K day needs to be great. But I'm looking at that Ethereum short from the last week, and I got up there and I was like, oh, I'm not confident enough to take the size I want. I want one more squeeze higher with bearish divergence, all this la la la, and then I'll take it. Well, it never came. It went up perfectly, and it was so bearish that it just fucking dropped. And so I didn't get my size. I ended up with nothing. And I just did the math today because we came into my targets over the week, and even a small position would have been up bigly, covered entire portfolio drawdown. So that's my mistake this week. That's the thing I am like journaling about. Market's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. For most part, capital's not going anywhere. I got some cash. I don't have the exact percentage, but it's enough to survive. Never as much as it could have been, right? So that's sort of my thinking this week as far as like things to improve on coming up next. So yeah, that's that. Let's get over to the chart because, you know, I can talk while we look at stuff. Yeah, Bitcoin. So, you know, look at, like, fuck, guys, I talk about this shit all the time. This is picture perfect price action. We had, let's see, let's dissect this a little bit. I think it's on this one. Is it? Is it? Oh, no. Let's check out the Coinbase one. There it is. Like, this was kind of my view of the market. And of course, at the time, we're like focusing on altcoins because they were going crazy. They were showing huge buy volume at breakouts after 47, 67-day consolidations. I would be crazy to be thinking this was the trades I wanted to look for. But I remember making this chart, right? We had the, you know, we had the rising wedge. This was the Coinbase listing that everyone said wouldn't be the top, but a lot of people said it would be, and they were right for now. And you know, whether we go back up or not, that was the top of a thing, of a big stupid rally from friggin' 3K to 65K, just about. Which, let's be honest, if we have to pull back for quite a while, that's still an impressive rally, and we should all be happy we were a part of it. 44% from the top. I mean, we're getting into territory that is almost unheard of. I don't know about the earliest days of Bitcoin, but you know, for the 2 or 3 cycles that I've studied, 45% drawdown from the highs without much relief, except for this complacency rally here. It's pretty unheard of. So again, that's why I think my long setup is one I have to take here. Despite my, you know, stomach just going, no. So I'm going to take that. Fuck it. We'll do it live. But look at this, you know, big breakdown from the wedge. Okay, cool. This was a reload zone of shorts, of sorts, I should say, right here, right? This was, you know, this was a zone for the range, and then it breaks back above EQ with authority, right back up to range highs, fails. Up to range highs on divergence, fails. Up to range highs, doesn't even touch the top, fails. And if you draw the full short reload zone, and we'll erase this because we already know that's a key area now. Check this out. Like, I tell you guys, these sweet spots, the sweet spot. And so again, here, I'm like, I'm looking for structure up in here, right? I was like, oh, I want it to go up, then I want it to go up higher, then I want it to break down. I want that M top, maybe even a lower high, M top, and then I want to squeeze up, and that's my short. Like, I was trying too hard to finesse it. So that's my like dissection of the past. But I mean, the really nice thing here, guys, is that this analysis, I knew it already, but now it's like another confirmation. It's like, oh, look at that. It worked again. So every single time your analysis works as a trader, chart, whatever, it gives you a little more confidence in the next one. Because up here, the last thing in some ways you want to do is short. Like this was like euphoric in the market. Things are going up. Focus on that. And right here, what's the last thing you feel like doing? And I'm not talking about you OG guys in the thing saying I want to buy these altcoins, because you shouldn't want to feel that way. What you feel right now, mostly as a human, is regret, pain, downside, sadness, right? That's the feeling that humans are having right now. And again, there's exceptions. I'm not particularly sad. I'm disappointed, perhaps, because it's less fun. But you have to kind of see, okay, so what's the emotion right now? We are at the extreme fear. I put this on Twitter. Let's take a look. Crypto fear index, fear and greed index. Let's pull it up. Let's take a quick peek, guys. So this was in greed just last month. I have a hard time, and this is what I was saying on the stream on Wednesday, I have a hard time buying things in size during like extreme greed cycles. You can ape in and ape out, but I'm going to make a long-term investment right now. Like, it just never ages well during extreme greed. That portion of the market participants that came in for that and drove that price action, they almost always will get washed out. So we're in the washing cycle now. And the only question I have is how long will it last? If it will last another day and we get something like this is what I'm kind of looking for over the weekend, maybe one low and then maybe another low on bullish divergence and then just whatever. Like, that's what I think will happen if I'm being a crystal ball holder right now. And then the debate is like, okay, how high up does the squeeze go? Does it fail? Do the bears win the battle? And if that battle happens, like, I think it'll happen more up into these kind of areas, like short reload zone like this. Watch. I know it sounds crazy right now. People are like, oh, no, we're not going to 52K next week. I think we might. And I think it's actually more probable than not. So for what it's worth, that's my long setup. And this is going to be like, if you don't have that mentality, if you don't have that setup on your chart, and like, look, guys, we could puke out here and just go straight into this higher time frame reload zone. And then next week on the stream, I'll say, hey, look at that. Just like we always say, reload zone. Like, these things work. You just don't know which one's going to work. But like I said on Twitter last week, trading at Random Task 555, by the way. If you don't follow me there, check it out. I'm coming up on 5,000. Let's see. Can I get to 5,000 followers before the channel gets to 5,000 subs? Just thought of that. Should make a thing out of that. That'll boost it. Anyways, trading is not about knowing what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So it can't be about knowing. It's about guessing well over time. It's about finding tools, TA in particular, finding tools and strategies that can give me an edge, that can over time outperform, randomly throwing darts at the board. And I know a lot of people think that you can't outperform the market. Obviously, I disagree. And even if I don't outperform the market, at least I have more control. And that's important to me. Like when I'm holding, I'm just the market's bitch. If it decides it's going down, I go down. If it decides it's going up, I go up. I don't like that, even though in the end it proves to be enriching for people who pick the right things to be long on for a long time. I like knowing that I can take my money out or short it or long it or do whatever I want at any time. And this is the bottom in March. Now, full disclosure, we're not at the bottom. We're not in the same market cycle. This had a lot less sort of late money involved. There just was. It was the end of the bear market, right? We had this big sort of echo rally of the 2017, and then we had this final sort of capitulation dump that ultimately just ended up being like a throwback to the original bottom from 2019. So anyways, point being though, at this point, there was so much fear in the market. Some really smart people were calling for Bitcoin to go way up, and this was a buy zone, but a lot of people were calling for 2K. There were some very convincing models at the time that said we had to go to 2K, 2100, 1K, right? And so looking for consensus at this point was a total waste of time. And I actually traded this. I fucking longed at 4475. So like right next to the bottom. Not very much, just a little bit because I was gun shy too. Whatever. Point is, was it worth taking the risk? Like, what was my downside? Yeah, I lose more. I'd already, thank God, when Trump closed the border to Europe, I just panicked and sold all my shit. And turns out it was the right move, and we went into that fucking crazy thing. And then I picked some up here, and was like strangely like aghast 2 months later when I was like, why did I still have cash? Like at this point, like I saved cash. I was like, oh, I'll just keep some tether just in case. But that's what you get. Anyways, the feeling then was very similar to right now. And the timeline is actually kind of similar. This looks very similar. We had that day we came down a bit just to the pump chaser zone. Then we like meandered up, and then we just tanked out one last time, and then it was like no coming back. So that's the best case scenario we have right now, and that's what I'm betting on, and that's what I think we'll get. And then of course, do we have this after, or do we just squeeze up into the short reload zone and then it's like, oh, now it's a bear. And that debate can happen up here. But if we like to bet on it having another week like this, and if that did happen, to bet that that's going to just continue, like even then it would be like, oh my God, now we're definitely going to go back up. So I don't know. That's my bet this weekend. And that's all my thinking. That's my hot ramble. So I hope that kind of makes sense to you guys. Yeah, BTC 20K, BTC 21K, like it's very, I think a lot of people, so let's talk about behavior. I want to get into like, what do you do during times like this? Because everyone is like frantically moving around like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh my fuck. If you don't already have a plan, like, if you didn't take some off here, if you weren't paying yourself here, it's best in many cases to sit on your hands, especially if you're the kind of guy who is like in the market or girl saying like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy and hold this to like this target. And next year I'm not selling. Well then fuck, stick to your guns. If you think that was a shitty plan and you regret it now because a pure dollar amount that has gone away in the last 10 days, then reflect on that and prepare yourself to change your plan when the time is right. Based on everything I just said, I just don't think this time is right. And if you're in the unfortunate, unenviable situation where you've put money into the market you can't afford to lose, you have no choice. You have to take it out. Like rent. I got a family, but I mortgaged my house and now I'm underwater. It's like, well, fuck, man. You really left yourself with few options. You have to sell. And that's why markets punish people. Because when do you do stupid shit like that? You're not taking out a mortgage. I mean, somebody did. I know a couple people who did some crazy shit down here and were like, I'm just going all in with everything I have. But for the most part, the people doing crazy things, taking out loans, buying more, that happens during greed. And we are not at greed. We are at fear. And so those people, that money, that needs to get washed, squeezed. It's ruthless, guys. So I hope nobody's in that situation. If you've been watching the channel a long time, I advise against that, despite never giving financial advice. My one rule is like, this is financial advice. Don't be stupid. Really, really don't be like going in with stuff you can't afford to lose. And then most of us, myself included, didn't hit that goal we kind of set out to hit. That's why we're still here. Would have left. And so it's about protecting capital. And usually the best time to protect capital is when you see these kinds of things coming. And I did talk a little bit about that, but even myself admittedly was still buying ID here, buying ID here, buying ID here. And my poor little ID bag looks like it's about to break the lows. I'm not selling it. This is one that I have to, I can't sell this. I just won't. I fucked it up. Like as far as my trade rules go and my usual, jam, I got a big fat heavy bag of ID and I'm stuck in it. It's the one I'm not going to sell. So it's a tech investment. I know, classic, in it for the tech. But I really, they've got the licensing. They spent 3 years getting it. We have a bear market for a week. We have a bear market for 3 to 6 months. Or do we sit here for 2 years? It's going to be as depressing as it's going to be, and I'm going to hold it. And if it goes really nasty, really nasty down into that sub IDO price, sub 15 cents, I am going to buy a stupid amount. That embarrassing amount that will triple my bag and my average entry will drop significantly and I will just write it off, maybe stake it on their thing for a year to absolutely wash my hands clean of the responsibility of making that decision. And I'll get a 40% return on my staking and we'll see where we're at next year. And if it's not any better, maybe I'm staking it again. And that's like, but despite it being my biggest bag, despite it hurting a lot and being cut almost in half, it's an amount that I can lose. I will be okay. I paid myself in February before the big rally. So I've got a little runway. That's the key here. And purely like if I had a bag worth $500, I'd probably sell this. Like we just broke the lows, retest. Let's go let it discover negative price discovery. Let's let it go. But I have a position that if I exited it, it would probably nuke price and then bounce back. And then I would have a hard time getting back in, rebuilding that position, blah, 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 blah. So I'm being a whale. I got to build my position over time. And I got to hold it for the 6 to 9 to 12 to 18 month range. I'm just going to do it. Focusing on the things I can trade, like my liquid assets. So yeah, that's my take on ID. I know some of you guys probably have a bag because of me. Even though you're not supposed to buy things I talk about just because I talked about them. And this is why. But whatever, okay, here's the fun thing. This would be cool. No, it wouldn't, but like actually, no, it would be. Watch till the end. If we, it's like, oh no, negative price discovery. Like, let's see how weak the hands are. Let's shake out all these premature, immature whales. And we get into this nitty gritty, nasty price action, and we just sit here. And it's like no sellers are left. It's just a total fucking wash. Guys like me sitting there on their hands, nothing to do but wait. And then September comes and whatever comes, and we get into, and then next year, next year it's like, oh, we were onboarding the entire country of the Philippines and like whatever. And all the shit that I was excited about and I am excited about comes to fruition, and demand for the token organically grows, and it's just a driver, and it just turns into a beast. $5 billion market cap, boom, boom, boom. Was I wrong? If that happens, no. I won't take as big a victory lap because I was wrong on my timing, and I didn't wait for what I always wait for in a coin, which is to show signs of reversal like we did here. So, I've got to slap myself on the wrist already, but this is my thinking, and however long this lasts, however low this goes, doesn't change my long-term outlook. And even despite all that, I could be wrong. It's a venture investment, right? We're venture capitalists over here, and that is some of the highest risk, highest reward shit. So I think that's all I'm going to say about ID. But yeah, and Jonesy doing what I should have done says I got a free bag of ID, so I don't really care about price. I can wait to buy a Lambo in the next bull run. Yeah, that's exactly it. I did sell 25% of my bag up here, and I rebought it at $1, feeling like a total champ. We were really in a bull like then, and we had this throwback to save us. And looking back, this bearish retest would have been a place to exit that bag, that rebuy, because that's clear fail, and then we're going to negative price discovery, or so misplayed this one on the technical thing, but that's because it's like it's been a fundamental trade for me, an investment, and it's kind of the way I'm going to keep it. So yeah, it sucks. It's painful, man. But like yesterday, it bounced 58% in this one little candle. So am I trying to like get out so I can get in later? No. I'm in. We're going down. We're going up. Don't care. Okay. So that's it. Alt BTC pairs, Blue Blazer. Yep, I agree. Highest risk in the market right now is altcoins. They are the highest reward. They are the highest risk. That's why we love them. Let's go look at ETH BTC. ETH BTC, and I was saying this last week, I think it's played itself out. It seems to, it had an incredible run. Don't know what time frame this was on, but I'm going to delete this because it's all weird. Just draw so much. Okay, let's see. Look at that. Okay, so no real bearish divergence. So that's pretty good. It was like a high momentum top for now. Let's take the lows. We'll draw it up here. We kind of front run the pump chaser zone here. Throwback. So could we chop, continue? Yep. That's play number one. But I thought to myself that ETH BTC was probably like short-term cooked even before Bitcoin dumped, because we had the multi-week rally. Let's see if I have it up here. Weekly views. Yeah, let's go here. So we had the newsletter kind of template that I do in the newsletter each week. So let's look at that. We had the Livermore cylinder breakout. We had like a 7 or 8 week rally. We had, we need volume on here. Whoop. Yeah. So, we had the bulls in control. We still do. But we came in and we tagged this 877. This was vertical. We're due for a pullback. So when that 877 comes in, I'm just like not that bullish on Ethereum short term. Then Bitcoin tanks, and obviously there's a flight to safety. There's going to be people who are preferring to sit in a base currency because uncertainty will be the major killer of speculation. And the major speculative access, the major speculative assets, the best, most speculative, spectacular 100x1s are altcoins. So you got to get out of those, typically, is the thinking. And that's why we're seeing a bit of a flight back to Bitcoin, and that is being expressed right here on the Bitcoin dominance chart. And as if by some miracle, it is right off this key weekly level. People say you can't chart Bitcoin dominance. I'll tell you, you can, and we did. Now, of course, here I thought there could be a bounce. Here, I thought there could be a bounce off this little level. Not making major bets on those assumptions, but just saying, well, let's watch this level. Let's watch this level. And then here I just thought, okay, here's your weekly support, right? It's the original bottom breakout level retested here. That's got to get some respect. And even though people aren't buying Bitcoin dominance, this just happened to align with the chaos PRZ that we just looked at on Ethereum. Happened to align with weekly resistance. I mean, this stuff's so cool how it all lines up. But yeah, so I do foresee whatever happens with USD, up, down, I do foresee Bitcoin, whatever this looks like. That's like September, so probably like quicker. But I do foresee a retake of dominance to some extent. And I am still of the opinion that we will be at sub 20% dominance someday. But we don't go straight there. We're going to have some kind of take back, in my opinion. So for the most part, like heavily traded BTC pairs, I'm back in Bitcoin. I'm back in cash. I've got some Ethereum. What else do I have? I got a whole bunch of coins. So I do a lot of investing through my fund, and we have some pre-sale stuff. So I've got a lot of those. They're not my primary concern right now. Those are investments. But I've got some serum. Still got my free bag of serum. Not really rushing to, this is a bad time to go like, oh, my free positions, sell them all, because they just dropped 50%. If I want to rush and suddenly not be an investor in all my free positions, I should do that during a mania, which I will do someday, but not now. And then the rest, it's got some I'm trying to move, strategically move Bitcoin and cash and ETH to the top of my portfolio size-wise, and I'm getting there. ID is still my biggest bag. I don't want to see the day that changes, because that means the value went down so much that it's lower than others now. But no, it's fine. So that's it. That's where I'm at. That's what I see kind of altcoin wise. I think we need to be careful. I'll give you one exception. Bunny has been an absolute godsend. Oh my God, did I ever hit this one and also misplay this one? Buddy of mine brought this to my attention at $6. He said, look, Bunny just got exploited, $1 billion exploited. I think it was actually more like 200 million as the truth finally came out. But the protocol itself was safe. The pools themselves were not drained. It was a flash loan attack that basically resulted in some incredible amount of Bunny being minted. I don't know. That sounds wrong, but point is the supply exploded and then it was nuked to $0. And if you zoom into the day this happened, this is where my buddy told me about it, like right around in here. And he's like, Bunny's still alive. And the TVL was still over 2 billion and the market cap was suddenly 5 million, down from whatever it was. So I'm like, despite what's going on in the market, like this is an incredible opportunity. This is like 0 or 10x. And so I picked some up, and then later that night, the team announced that they were going to be doing a snapshot. And so the fear was that if they snapshot to before this exploit, and then they create like a V2 Bunny token, and then they just airdrop it to all of these people, and then this one just ceases to exist, and it goes to 0, or next to 0. And then you get like Bunny Classic or whatever. Somebody could try to revive it because they have a big bag. But bottom line is, once they announced that, I was like, and then he told me, he's like, yeah, if you haven't sold yet, you probably should. I was like, fuck, I'll get out. And then of course, literally in the next 2 hours, I watched it explode. So it was a great opportunity, and it was a very painful experience because I had put in a decent little bag and could have put in a fuckload more given, looking back, I mean, it was a really interesting dynamic that made for a great, a great time at $6 to just be like, I'm going to buy a fucking huge bag and just sell the whole, the half at 12. And then I've got this massive free position that it's like totally free. That was probably like in retrospect, I was like, I should have done that. Anyways, I got my shit together yesterday. I knew it was bullish. I read their full report that they finally came out with. They said, we're going to do a buyback and burn. We're going to do all this stuff. We're going to replenish the pools. Like everyone that lost money is going to make it back through these fees that we're generating over the few months. We've got the TVL, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck, man, Bunny really is back. Like this token's not getting replaced. It's going to be great. And as that news came out, weirdly, it was dipping. So I moved some funds back to Pancake. I picked it up against all my usual trading mistakes, because I often just say, I'm so salty I didn't get it at 6. I'm not going to buy it at 32. But I had faith in the apes on Pancake that they could give me a little boost, and I fucking feel good, man. Nailed it. So I actually sold here, not because I thought it was the top, just because I thought I've doubled my money, actually a little more, but I didn't wake up till it was a little over. I said, I'm going to get my money back out. And then here I saw the China news. I was like, fuck it, I actually want to make some money on this. So I sold my initial 2, like my free position, and now I'm like more doubly ready to like try to get back in. But it may need to cool down. Last thing I'll say about Bunny is that they have a huge supply now. I think initially it was like 100K or something, like it was less. Let's take a look. Apparently it was a lot less, and then there was like this big minting issue, like the whole exploit, whatever. I don't know. So if you factor in all of this new supply, apparently the market cap is actually higher than it was before the exploit, which is, again, why I decided to get the fuck out with the rest as well. Shortly after selling my half, and then I was like sitting here, I was like, market's a little crazy. Let's take a win. Should Bunny be $70? Probably not. So that turns out it aged okay, and now it's like, let's see, because their plan is to buy back and burn to eventually get back to that initial market cap. So I still think Bunny's going to be a really fun one to trade. It's got 600 million in volume. It's got 28 million in liquidity. And my buddy was like just watching people get in and out with like 200K positions and just selling for like a 2K win because it's so liquid. And PancakeSwap is lowish fees, and it's, aside from 3 failed transactions in a row, it's actually pretty good. So for what it's worth, I think Bunny might be one of my favorite things to trade right now as far as like looking for opportunity. Not this minute, but as you can see, it's like coming down. So not going to take my eyes off the Bunny. If I'm desperate to be involved this week and this weekend, I'm going to keep an eye on this. Because optically, it's still undervalued. It was like a $200 coin before, right? And it's back. It's going to be okay. So let's see. Keep an eye on the Bunny, as I said. I think down in this reload zone, if it chills for a bit, if it does some stuff, maybe this, like, it's in the pump chaser zone right now. I don't know if I want to get that aggressive, but yeah, I'm going to be watching it. Watching it for show. I'm going to flag here at best. Okay. Free bag, yeah. What do you think about governments would be okay with crypto takeover? Yeah, it's a good question. It's funny how these questions all come up during the FUD. Like, why? Like, I'll tell you what, I think governments to some extent will understand that, yes, they can regulate it, tax it, KYC, whatever. They can't shut it down. They can't stop it. And they're probably not incentivized to either, because it is such incredible technology. It does enable such incredible empowerment of just, say, finance or, governance, all these interesting use cases. I mean, just go through all the ones for crypto that you can think of. And so I don't think there's any incentive to completely shut down and cockblock crypto. I think small countries that need a leg up will, harbor it, and they'll get all the benefits. So I think the U.S. is more interested. If you're wondering about the U.S., like I think if their angle changes and they're like, we're gonna ban it and shut it, like, oh my God, bear market. But I think their behavior thus far has been to try to just get a piece of the pie through taxes, through regulation, whatever else, right? Big successful companies in our country are gonna make money from crypto and pay us taxes, like whatever, I don't know, personal tax. But yeah, waiting for Bunny debate. Okay, nice. I need some confirmation before I buy dips. Yeah, you should wait for confirmation, man. That's what most top traders I know actually do. And there's nothing wrong with waiting for confirmation. Like the setup I showed you, this is why I have to take it here. But you know what setup I'd be way more comfortable taking? Is like whatever this looks like. I don't know. We go up, we go down first, but it's like through this. And don't look at the side. It's not about the price. It's like, but generally through a reload zone like this, and then we just like whatever. Breakout, volume, retest. Like, I'd be way more comfortable waiting for that. But I'm not going to. I'll be here if and when that happens. But I'm not gonna like not do anything until that happens. I'm gonna overtrade. According to some, overtrade. But for me, it's like this is a setup. So I don't think the bull is done. To be totally honest, I could see it being done. Certainly feels like it's done, but I don't think it is. Let's go look at 2017. I think we already did, right, with the China ban. I actually haven't applied my little fib strategy to it. Okay, I'm going to erase the entire chart. I was like, do I want to delete that nice range I had drawn up? Whatever. What is this? June 2019. That's not it. We got to go further back. Let's go look at the last time China banned Bitcoin. I mean, I think they did something in the bear market too, but the last major one wasn't even this. That was like a random week in November. It was here. So this is what the last China ban looked like. So context, it was a bull market. We had been up, Bitcoin started the year at like $800. I think right at the start of January, it actually dipped to $700. And so we were in this rip roaring bull. And if you were there, you know. And then September came, Bitcoin was on an absolute tear, and it came up to like 5K, which is an interesting level to suddenly decide it doesn't want to go higher right now. And then it was September 4th, I think right here, Bitcoin was banned in China. Big red headline, Bitcoin banning miners, whatever it was, banning ICOs, everyone dying. Binance was a new exchange at the time. It was based in China or Hong Kong, I forget. Everyone thought they were going to die too. I think BNB dropped like 78% over 2 weeks. But then look at this time frame. This is an important piece here, guys. Let's say from the China ban, let's say it was the end of the day on the 4th. Well, probably the start of the day. To the bottom. 11 days and 12 hours. What does 11 days feel like? We're on day day 9 from the highs. So that's, maybe we're close. But from like the China ban stuff, we're like 4 days in. And then against all the odds, because this is definitely the end of the bull market, right? There's no way we can recover from that. Look at this. Everyone just selling. Hours and hours and hours and hours and hours in a row of selling. 40% drawdown. And just like that, I don't know if it was news driven, but it just sprung up. It just sprung up, said, here's my big buy volume. I'm putting a floor in the market. Somebody decided we're going to go higher. And my setup didn't come in. It actually just did, it did what it's doing right now. It did like the pump chaser zone only. So for those of you saying I want to wait for confirmation, you can do this. I mean, wait for some kind of, if we already haven't seen it, I think we have, but if we haven't seen it yet, there's going to be just more liquidation, capitulation till everyone's liquidated and there's no longs left, which is often how it actually happens. But, and then it'll be like a retest. That's not it, but it'll be here. It'll be a higher low, and then it'll be a breakout with some kind of volume. We got that here. That was it. This was the confirmation. Arguably, you could have said even this was confirmation. We broke higher. And then you got your dip, and then it was off. That's what I usually look for, right? Get the dip after confirmation. So that's what you want to do most likely. Especially if you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Just do that. And then the question is, from the low, that confirmation candle didn't come in for 10 days. So there's that too. This is, this has been 2 days. And it's a long 2 days. I've been staring at charts all freaking day. It feels like it's forever. Like, when is this going to end? So if we're a bull, if we're going to continue, if there's a decision to be made, bull, bear, that decision could take weeks. And how much do I want to lose trying to guess it? Oh, it's a bear. It's a fucking bull. It's a bear. It's a bull. So does this all make sense? I'm just rambling. I'm off the handle today, boys, ladies. Nothing new under the sun. Bought BNB under $1. G move. So did I. I was feeling great. I still remember the $1 party in the BNB Slack channel back in the day. Someday we'll hit $1, I tell you. It was like 26 cents or 43 cents or something. Didn't hold it. Certainly not to 600, but made some good money off it. Those are just like ETH prices today. Yeah, cannot stand how casual this guy is. Oh, Michael G. Sorry, man. We should panic more. I'm way too casual. Look, let me tell you something. I'm a trader. I'm not going anywhere. Market is a market is a market. It's going to be here. I'm going to trade something. So I'm sorry. I don't know if you're hating my casualness. You want to hear me rant and rave and panic or cry? I don't know. What do you want? What do you want? I'm very curious about that comment, man. I'm sorry if you're hurting today. But I got to bring levity into my life, or what else do I have? Is Bitcoin going to drop? Like, am I going to fucking, oh no, now I'll sell. Like, I did sell some this morning. Full disclosure. Let's go see if I'm getting filled. Wouldn't that be funny to watch on stream? It's like, and it's gone. Oh, there goes that setup. I think last thing on this setup, and then we can look at some charts if you guys have particular coins you're curious about. The last thing I'll say on this is it's just one setup, guys. I have X amount of dry powder cash. I'm not putting it all in here and just holding to infinity and I'm wrecked. That's not on the table. Being wrecked is not, I'm not leveraging. I can't get liquidated. I take, oops, I hope I don't get wrecked. I take that out of the equation completely, as you always should do, right? Golden rule. Always come back to play the game again. So this is just one setup, and it's a particularly high R setup. So I am taking more risk on it perhaps than my average one, but not all in. And at this point, maybe it's like I've seen such a drawdown that like, what's another 20% of the existing drawdown I've already had or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I'm willing to do it based on everything we just looked at. And if this wasn't the bottom, and if we have to nuke again and we liquidate everyone that just went super long here, so be it. I'll wait it out like the last China ban and we'll see. And if we do have to go into a bear market, oh no, I've been there before. It sucks, but we'll survive. We'll be here. I'll be sticking around. And, it's like I always say, markets are going to be here. Capital, participants, they change all the time. But once you take getting wrecked, completely washed out, if you take that out of the equation, you'll be here too. What do you think of tweezer bottoms on ETH BTC? Seems like a good pattern to buy, no? I don't see one. Are you talking about a different one? I don't see one yet. In fact, I just see like a pit stop on the way down to more downside. I mean, God, the daily looks so much uglier than everything I'm looking at, guys. So keep that in mind. Maybe I should just be analyzing from the daily. It's like, whoa, hit a low, bounce. Whoa, hit a low, bounce. Like if this is what happens, this is how it feels like it's going to be, right? If you look at it right now and say, what's going to happen? That's what it feels like. If that does happen, totally possible, I'm going to be fucking mind blown. That'll be incredible. It could be wrong. Like that could happen. I don't know. I'm going to definitely trading this level. If this gets blown out and we just head lower, like I'll probably put my money away for a bit. Get stopped, move on, lick my wounds, recoup, resettle, reestablish, maybe take a week off trading. I could do all those things, but I'm taking a shot here. Because if we're in a bull, this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. And if we're in a bear, I still think we'll have to have a few days bounced. Like like if we're in a bear, I could still. I think either way, my little reload zone here is a place I like to get long. Yeah, Vega wants more screaming. Vega says Michael G wants more screaming to the moon. Yeah, man, me too. Someone scream quick. Cheesy upbeat voices on. Yeah, okay. You guys want to hear my cheesy upbeat voice? Hi, welcome back. Oh no, shit, that's my normal voice. Oops. I guess I just have a cheesy upbeat voice. I was watching some Robin Williams lately. Rest in peace. Love that guy. He does a lot of great voices. Big fan. So sad. So sad that he went. Bit the shit. Look, we got a node up here. We got a short reload zone. We got a retest. If I was a betting man, I'd say we're going to test that level before we have a bear market, if we're having a bear market. Let's just put it that way. Nobody wants to hear it today, but I think it's true. And that would fit all of my analysis, which makes it even more fun, because that means I can catch my little retest here. Maybe we can watch a little multi-week squeeze while all the bulls say, haha, told you so, bitch, and all the bears get squeezed and wrecked. And then we can have a little complacency hangout, and then we can dump. Like, if we're having a bear market, that's the path. I am 70% sure of that. So we get our 30%. Don't shoot the messenger. The fun thing about probabilities, and this is going to piss you off, maybe, if you're like Michael G and you're in a bad mood. The Weatherman, you should read this book, The Art and Science of Prediction. Super Forecasters. It's a very cool book. It's probably my favorite book I read that helped me with trading, that wasn't really specifically about trading. Talks a lot about predictions markets, the global level, the CIA, how they try to predict governmental stuff. And, there's a lot of power in being able to predict the future. And so obviously things like the CIA, whatever else, they're all racing to be the best at knowing what's coming. And they created this super forecasters group of just like super experts in all their fields. There's 9 of the smartest people in the world. And we're going to get them together and they're going to have their predictions across 200 events. And we'll see how they stack up against 70,000 random fucking yoo-hoos from their living room. And guess who won? The wisdom of the crowd, 70,000 random people. Some of whom might have been an expert in one thing or the other, but none of whom were particularly special people. And they outperformed on a predictions percentage probability basis the smartest people in the world sitting in a little room that they could find. And I found that was interesting. And through that book, they talked a lot about probability and weather. You know, the weatherman says 90% chance of showers. Well, if it doesn't rain, they weren't wrong. They said there was a 10% chance it wouldn't rain. It was implied, right? So I think there's a 70% chance we go up no matter what from roughly around here. Bull or bear. There, I said it. Command Center, what's up? Buying back higher if it happens. Yeah. Can you name one more time? Art of Science. Oh, yeah. The Art and Science. It's called Super Forecasters. The Art and Science of Prediction. Could probably just find it for you. Yeah. Super Forecasting, excuse me, by Dan Gardner. Very cool book. I did the audiobook and like purely a fun read. It's not like, oh, yes, the best alpha ever. But a very interesting read. It is sort of what we do as traders, investors. We're trying to forecast. We're saying buy now because later someone will buy it for more later from me. So the Art and Science Prediction, very cool book. I almost want to read it again. Fun fact. Okay. Guys, I'm on such a rant today. I feel like I'm always in rant mode, but like heavy duty today. Now, if there's anything you're just dying to hear, or maybe you asked a question and I haven't seen it, hit me with the caps. Throw some capitals at me and I'll see them. And let's get into something that's maybe a little closer, dearer to your heart on this fine Friday. Before I go drink this really gross whiskey that I bought because it was fancy and it was in like one of those sleeves and it was $90 and I was like, oh, this is a nice single malt. It actually tastes bad. I'm a Glenfiddich kind of guy when I get fancy. Tried this like single malt Irish. Anyways, I'm going to go drink some of that tonight, have a few glasses out in the sunny trees and just enjoy, right? I've got my setup, I've got my alerts, I've got my stop loss, I've got my risk managed, and I'm just going to see what the market gives me. Hopefully, it gives me a blowjob. Just kidding. Wow. Hey, Mom. Hope you're not watching. Super Forecasting, the Art and Science Prediction. Yeah, okay. ZRX, Band, Ren, Sushi, Balancer. Let's get after it, guys. I kind of wrote off altcoins at the start of the show and thought, so I won't chart them. Look, in a sort of where they are on the chart, they all look fucking, they all look fucking great. They're all cheaper. And so there's two things you want in a coin or an asset. You want it to be cheap. You want it to be undervalued when you buy it. You also want it to be heading in the right direction. And that is the big caveat that most newer investors and traders forget. They say, oh, it used to be $20. Now it's $4. It's a great deal. And then they watch it go to $1 and they say, I'm 75% down. And then at $1, it shows signs of reversal, and suddenly you're getting an even better deal. And that's how I feel about these altcoins right now. Just about no matter what you look at. Keep in mind, I have a shorter time horizon on most things. IDEA is my one exception. I made that kind of big ass bag, build, buy investment, and like I'm just stuck in it. I'm holding it, and I don't mind. Like I'm still, bullish on them. Maybe next cycle. However, everything else I will sell. Like trade bags, coins that I'm like, oh, this might go up. If it doesn't go up, if it breaks my structure, I'm out. And so I got to ask myself, ZRX as the example just now, is there a better time to buy something than when it just confirmed an M top? The answer is always yes. Head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it. This is bearish market structure. Tried to go up, failed. Tried to go up, failed even worse. Then dropped and broke the lows. Any rally up here should be treated as absolutely suspect. And you could say the same thing for Bitcoin, which is what I'm saying. So, for me, longing Bitcoin here is not about we have new highs. It's about expecting to have that, that bearish retest up. So, I don't think people should get into too much like bull market over, bear market starting. Like, I don't care. I want to make money. I want to trade my setups. And if I long here, I do think there's going to be a squeeze up to here no matter what. Whether it washes me out first, whether it goes way lower first, there will be some kind of short reload zone, I think. Could be wrong. So all my eggs are not in that basket. I'm not going to die on that hill. But ZRX looks like shit. Short answer. I know you don't like that answer, but so, it broke all my charts, so I might as well restart them. But it's in the reload zone. Damn, So, okay, so let's, that was really bearish, RT. Let's start again. It's in the reload zone. All this time I'm saying, we're in a range. We're looking like we might go higher, blah, blah, blah. Let's take risk. Now I'm getting the fuck out. Now it's in a reload zone. So what do I want to see down here before I'm like eager to go and take longs again? First of all, I want to see Bitcoin not be in a shitty little bear trend. I want to see ETH BTC, doing pretty well. I want to see Bitcoin dominance falling. It has fallen so much right now. Betting on it to come back up a bit is probably more likely. So I don't see what I need there either. I probably want to see this fill in, which is going to take time. That's the amount of volume traded between these prices has to go up. So the more times there's trades, the more this fills in at whatever price it was traded at. That's the market discovering price. It has a huge gap here. And we're back in it. In fact, seeing this gap a month ago would have been really helpful. Because despite all the shit we see about the bear, I would have been like, oh my God, there's a huge gap down there. These kinds of things tend to get filled in. It's like gravity. So, yeah. What is it going to look like? I don't know. But this is the kind of thing, and you want to see. And this is what we saw after DeFi summer, right? A lot of you guys, maybe you're just here last year. You already know this. We're going to come in here. We're going to do something like that. At best, I'd like to say. Unless I'm just wrong and we go right back up, big moon, but probably not. And so through here, you're filling in this VPVR and you can just chill. You can totally chill. That's like the rest of this year if that happened. And however long it lasts, doesn't matter because you'll know once that range high is established, you can wait for it to break out. You can wait for some nice volume to support that. And then you can buy the next dip and you're just like back in. And that is going to be the same take that I have on basically every altcoin right now. Although I do remember looking at ZRX, kind of like looks a little worse than a sum. It didn't bounce back nearly as much. Like Solana had a really nice bounce yesterday with the Coinbase news. Now it's like kind of right back down to where I picked it up the other day. And also looks like shit. Like all things being equal on a TA level, this just looks like, oh, we were at highs. We broke out. We failed. Now we're bearish retesting and eventually we'll just cool down. We'll shake everyone out. We'll get back to building and then someday we'll have another big FU rally. That's what all these charts look like to me. Whether I think this will happen or not, it's just what they look like. Let's go see band. I'm going to try to get through these quicker because I do know that not everyone wants to hear about each one. So we'll see if we can skim. But you see what I mean though, right? Like we were just up here having all kinds of fun. Not quite parabolic, but definitely enjoying ourselves. And now, if you asked me through here, like, where's the best place to buy these? It's always in the reload zone. That's like, maybe not even that one, maybe, God, I do that a lot. Maybe like down here. And we hit that too. And most people during this, they're like, nah, I don't want to wait for that. I'm going to miss all my gains. Well, they just came in. So if you want to be an investor, if you want to just park money at a place where it's like, yeah, you're probably getting in at a reasonable price. These throwbacks are great. Well, I should also say that. Generally speaking, I don't want to get too bearish on the down days. These are great. My guess or my fear is, my issue is I like to be in things that are trending up. And this is not. This finished an uptrend and is now just smashed down from this point of view. And so we have actually a good example on band of what that could look like, right? We had a really shitty breakdown. We bounced up. Oh no, FOMO back in, but then it just sucked for a bit. And then it really squeezed out and then it recovered and then it sucked for a bit and then it recovered. And it didn't become sexy again until this uptick in volume matched that breakout. And then what? We got to buy it at that price on the throwback. And how much time did we save staring at a shitty chart and being stuck in something that sucks? Let me get the date out here. Let's just say from the day it broke down to the time it was buyable was 126 days. So like I said, 3 to 4 months later this year. And so that may be what we're in for now, because this is a lot of fear. It's going to be hard to build confidence in here to get people just aping like crazy. It's going to take some time, I think. So that's actually really good news, because if you can manage either like I'm long and I'm just going to be long because I know it'll go up someday, cool. It might, it should, but you never know. And if that's your strategy, then cool, you get to go outside. You know, you get to be off the charts this summer or until whenever. Set some alerts and enjoy your day. Or if you're not in, you have like, I'm sitting on cash. I want to know when I can buy back. When's the good time? Well, there's a good level to buy back. And then the second part is the time. Is it going to go back up? When is it going to go back up? And that's what this looks like. Does that make sense? Oh, Lito wants to know where they can find my fib settings. You know what? Hop in our Discord. I'll post them in my channel after the stream, or tag me in the Discord if I forget to do that. Because sometimes after the stream, I do all these things with the stream and then I forget what I told people I would do. But tag me in the Discord and ask for those, and I will surely post them. I actually have them all put together in a picture already. And then you can check out the fib settings. You can also watch the videos. RLZ, Pump Chaser Zone. Don't use a Pump Chaser Zone right now. It's probably not that market right now. And the Chaos PRZ, and I show you all the settings on there as well. Oxy. Okay, Blade Runner, Oxy. You're going to hate what I have to say about Oxy. Oxy's dead for now. So Oxy is doing the MTA thing. And you have to keep in mind, I don't know who here tried for the FTX lottery on this. I did. I did not get it. But my buddy got it. He's locked up pretty long term, but there's vesting, and over time they're gonna get their tokens, and they're way up. I think it was like 12 cents per coin. And it's trading at $2 right now. And one of the reasons they have these perps, I think they have the perps, right? Pretty sure they have perps. Yeah, Oxygen perps, is if you have a huge pre-sale bag of Oxy, let's say you have 2 million of them, and they were 12 cents, and that's all the way down here. You're way up. And you want to capture that value. You don't want to wait till they unlock, and by then they're only $1. That sucks. So what do? You go on to something like a perp protocol, perpetual future, whatever, and then you sell or you short. And really wherever you short from doesn't matter, because if it goes against you, I mean, you could get liquidated. You got to size everything appropriately. But if they go up in value, cool, I own the tokens, they'll be unlocked later. If it goes down in value, cool, I shorted it. So you're basically locking in the value of your tokens. And that's why FTX is pretty good about listing perps fairly early after they launch, because they probably have big bags and they want to head to them as well. So I was bullish on Oxy here because we were in a bull and it was in the reload zone of the entire range it had. And this is another conversation around, early coin, not a huge price history. So it's hard to say, was this a bottom? It wasn't strong, right? It was not like a 10-month accumulation zone or anything. But this breakout and then sliding into here, I bought some and I sold it on this breakdown. I stop loss hit. But this looks like shit, period. It's not ready. It's not even close to ready. And at best, you're breaking back above here and then you're chilling for a bit, and that's really strong, and then you can get long or whatever. But this thing just looks like trash. So, and I like Oxy. I'm a big bull of this project and I want back in it, but I want it as cheap as I can get, and I want to wait as little as I have to be up. So I'm out. And I took a loss. But you're not alone if you're underwater. I was underwater. I sold it. So what are we looking for? Well, perfect example of this is MTA. I know somebody in here had some MTA at one point. Let's take a look at MTA. This is what we saw last summer. Nick and I on the stream actually talked about getting the fuck out and saying the exact same thing about MTA. It came out, it was super bullish, but it broke this level, which at the time was like your support and your support. And so once this level broke at $5, I was like, why would I get on that? Get out. Get out. Let it discover how shitty and how inflatey, whatever the reason is these go down. Let it find a floor. Don't be a part of the bear market on a coin. Negative price discovery, right? I don't know where it's going to go, and I don't care. I can wait. We'll find out. It'll tell us. And it went from the start of September, right? And I don't, it's just a coin. I'm not staring at it every day, but I set alerts, and it goes all the way down to levels people didn't expect, right? Like 80 cents, like holy shit. Total, depression-y, chop it up, and like everyone's getting out, right? And who's building a position? Probably some of the guys who dumped it here, sold it there, whatever, or just big pocketed people. And then you see the breakout. Then you see the breakout, and it was clear as day. Rising volume, buyers getting interested again, sellers out of the market, breakout, and it even had a little retest, which I believe was a pump chaser zone. And then there was a trade there, and now it's back to shit again. I have no idea what's going on with MTA, like the inflation mechanics. This is really like a messy play that I just kind of tagged on a few different times. I couldn't tell you, but this also looks like poop. And if it has to go down some more, like there is a floor. Trust me. There is people somewhere who will buy up as much of this as you'll sell them. And when they put the floor in, pay attention. And when the buy volume starts to ramp up again, pay attention. Right now, if you have $100 and you need to make money on that 100, or you really want to, any amount of money, 10,000, you have to be selective of where you put it. Market's not going anywhere. So where are you going to put it? You're going to put it here now? Maybe it's the bottom. Or you're going to wait for something like this that takes months, and people always say, all right, patience, patience, patience. Takes months, but then when it happens, your probability is so much better that you're going to make money, and you're going to make money soon. I hope this is gold for you guys and not like, oh, there we go. Big long rant, beating a dead horse. Poor horses. What is the volume indicator on the right side called? That's called the VPVR. It's only available for premium users, which makes me feel super pretentious, but there it is. It's a volume profile. It's on TradingView. It's amazing. It's probably my favorite tool, and I think they know that because they made me pay for it. The other thing about premium that you get is tons of alerts. I ran out of my 10 alerts very quickly on the Pro account. I actually ran out of my 200 alerts that I get with premium, but then I deleted some old shit ones I didn't need. So I personally highly recommend premium if you're trading a lot or if you've made some money. But I would say buy it at Black Friday. Shout out to the Black Friday sale for TradingView. It's so good. It's like 60% off for 2 years. RT fib settings, awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, Chaos PRZ and Reload Zone. Those settings are all in those videos, which I should say like right up here. And then I'll like put that into the video later, but don't always do that. Look at Rook. Okay. I feel like we lost the list that somebody put out earlier. I was actually planning to get to all those. I talk too much. Let's go to Ren real quick. Just going to do, yeah, same thing. Guys, this is the other thing. Like, we're just going to see the same thing. Now, here is your run it back turbo scenario. This is what everyone wants to see, and it very well could. Don't rule this out. Big accumulation range, big breakout, shitty, bearish retest or bullish retest. Chill, but this is the bottom, and we just chill, and eventually we rock it, and everyone who bought here when I was saying wait, fucking rich. Like, that's possible. If I was sitting through all this and I'd say, when do I want to buy? I would be drawing up my reload zones, as you guys know, and I'd be like, let's buy here. So yeah, go crazy, but be prepared to wait. Be prepared to get shaken around with 30 and 40% swings for a while. And at least if that doesn't happen and it just goes straight back up, you can be like, well, I was prepared for the worst. There's nothing wrong with picking up coins in these kinds of zones. The thing that is wrong, the thing people frig up, is that they buy too much and they have too short a time horizon. So they take too much risk and they are not prepared to wait. I know a guy, shout out to Joshua McGowan over on TRI Lounge. I don't know if you're watching, but if you are, love you, man. And you're a sharp trader. And this guy is begging for this downside. He doesn't buy anything up here. He was long, but he was long on these coins from their absolute depression lows, and he just stacks them. He's like, oh, picked up some of this, picked up some of that, picked up some of this, picked up some of that, picked up some of this. And he just shops through all the bear cycle. And then through this, he's already got his alerts working. He's got to sell on a double, sell another on a double, sell another on a double, sell another on a double. And he's basically out of his bag by now. And now he's just like, oh, man, please more down. I want to start refilling. And he doesn't care. He'll just, picks a little up, pick a little up, pick a little up, pick a little up, wherever they end up going. And then when we go through another bullish cycle, which is almost inevitable at this point, because it's a money-making machine and humans are humans and whales were whales, and they'll play their games and they'll run us up again. So that if you want to be that kind of trader, make a lot of money, but it takes a lot of patience. And like if he has 10K, don't know what he has, but if he has 10K, how much do you think he's putting into all those little buys and nibbles? Probably $50 out of 10K. Probably like 0.5% into each one. And that way you can have 100 of them and you don't care when they move. So that's another way to play it. Probably the best way to play it, to be honest. So risk-free, risk-free. So worry-free. You're just like, oh, I'll buy shit, and I'll sell gold. Then I'll buy more shit, and I'll sell some gold. Like, buy it when it's trash, sell it when it's cash. Got to go back to work. Thanks, RT. Cheers, man. Have a wonderful day. I got to go back to, I'm at work. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. But no, I got to go back somewhere soon. We are getting near the top of the hour. But I'm having a good time with you guys today. I think there's a lot of anxiety in the market. If I can be a voice of reason, if I can answer some of this, if I can help you guys out, I appreciate it. And I want to do that for you. So I'm going to stick around for a little bit today. What are your inputs on VPVR? I love it. This tool is amazing. And I think we should pay more attention to it. I pay quite a bit of attention to it, but it's so valuable. This double distribution, now a triple distribution on Bitcoin. This was a sick signal. And if you guys follow us at Real Hero Labs on Twitter, I'm not going to say I traded this perfectly, but the analysis was fucking bang on. We were up here. People were calling rah, rah, rah. We're in a big crazy bull. Coinbase wasn't the top. And I just thought, break out of the range highs and dump. And up here, I was like, don't be surprised if we need to range for a little more. And that's good news for altcoins. Literally tweeted that. So this isn't like, oh no, how did this happen? This is what the VPVR showed. It showed that this was not filled in. This was not filled in. Now, I wasn't even looking at this. I was just thinking for this range, we were not done. And I don't know that, but there was a probability there that we had to come back in. And then when we did, I was like, oh, there it is. Oh, fuck, there it is. And it even outpassed what I thought. So, yeah, there's no two ways about it, guys. This is not the kind of chart you want to look at when you're a bull. Unless you're like a 10-year bull, and this was all too expensive for you. Now you're starting to lick your chops. But as someone who wants to long and get rich tomorrow, it's not that great. God, we're gonna fill my bids on stream. We're staying until they fill. But yeah, I've got bids here and here because that's my setup. And after a big nuke and when there's fear, I have to try to take the retest to the lows, or what am I doing? That's the one setup that's mine. I vetted it. No one taught it to me. I've got to follow it. I've got to try it. And if it just gets shit on, well, it's one time. The last time I did this, it worked beautifully, and that should pay off for the times it doesn't. Hey, RT, what are your inputs? And yeah, okay, Rune. Okay, Rune, sir, please. Yeah. I love when people say please. They don't need to, but it's so polite. It's so pleasant. Especially on, yeah, and this is the thing. Over the last weeks, I was getting so FOMO'd on Rune. Everyone's talking about it. It's Thorchain. It's interoperability, whatever it is, DEX. Pretty dope. Put a cork in it, man. It's going to take a break. Either, again, same old thing, right? Either this is just a big dump, and then it's whoa. And that's very possible. Or the bubble's popped, and we're going to wash out this whole fucking crowd. Which on altcoins, I think is more probable, because even if Bitcoin recovers, does what I think it will do, and we have a bull the rest of the year, or some extent of the year, altcoins I think are done for a little bit. Because if we go back full bull, whatever, I think it's Bitcoin that's going to lead that, and also just get shit on. I mean, remember in 2017, I know we talk about decoupling, we like talk about this, but remember in 2017, was not very friendly for altcoins, except for in 2 or 3 little spots. And at the end of the day, they made more money than Bitcoin made anyone all year, so it was worth it when you caught it. But altcoins spent a whole lot of time eating dirt in 2017. May, when I joined, was oh my God, Ethereum, everything going up 10x, 100x. And then at the end of the year, obviously at the top of the market, pure insanity. 10x every little shitcoin, didn't matter what it was, 10x in 2 days. For the rest of the year, it was a lot of haha, you're an idiot. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. You should be selling your alts. And then, So I think either way, alt's going to have to get a squeeze here versus Bitcoin. Let's just hope it's to the upside. Then we can stay flat versus USD, maybe. But yeah, I'm not, I don't know. There's just, and especially this one, because it's it's not even in a reload zone. Or is it? I don't think it is. My God, it's approaching. So, yeah, this just looks like if you're okay, let's put it this way. If you're a bull, smart money, big pocketed bull, and you want to buy this coin, why are you going to rush and chase it here? I mean, maybe you don't get any more. Maybe there's so much money out there that's just ready to buy. Okay, cool. I have a feeling there's more sellers in the market right now. And then if you're smart money, like you'll put it in the floor when you damn well please. You'll want it cheaper, and I bet they can get it down here. So, and that's, you could argue that that's true for Bitcoin too. But I've already gone over my Bitcoin setup like 100 times. So, argument basically being, that down or up, I think we can squeeze for a few days next week. But yeah, people want to get their Bitcoin cheap. I bet the smart money can get it here. 20K someday. It's really tricky. As I'm talking to you guys and I'm like going through all this, I'm like, I realize how shaken up this kind of price action can make me. Like, it breaks the model, right? You're sitting here for months. You're like, you're in a zone. You're like, this is the way it's going. We have this trend. We have that trend. We have this range. And then it just shocks the market. And it's like, it's going to take maybe a little time for me to sort out my, my new thesis. And from this exact view, I hate this long setup. We got this range low, break it, retest it, fail. Like, why am I longing here? Get rid of this low. I don't want to see that. That's ruining my long idea. It's not huge. I wanted to size up more, and I just said, look, just throw in a little bit. Don't go crazy. So that's what I'm doing. Pray that something down here happens, and then we squeeze the bears for a week. I still think that's what's going to happen, but the more I look at it, the less sure I am. And that's usually how a good trade starts. Solana either looks like it will range or it's cooked. Yeah, I agree. I think everything looks cooked, man. On those alt charts we all just looked at, they all look the same, right? Climbing higher, climbing higher, climbing higher. Really nice rally. And then it's just like, boom. And usually, and then it's always like, well, is that the dip or is that the end? Either way, bearish retests are for maybe exiting positions that I should have exited before. And that's what a lot of people are going to be thinking. You got to think like the crowds here. Is everyone suddenly rushing to buy more, saying finally? Or are the majority of a lot of these newer participants just like, get me out of here? And they're going to do that at the bearish throwbacks. So it's not fun. But that's, you try to think like, who am I trading against? Who am I trading with? Who's my brethren in the market? And a lot of them are weak hands that came in because number go up. They didn't make it yet. They have put in money that they worked hard to get. It's not like AP around gains that they just had from some other shitcoin. Like, put in $2,000 out of their savings. Like, if that goes up to 1,700, if they get almost back to their 2K, probably getting the fuck out. Elevator down. Yeah, Dynasty. Welcome back, bro. Crypto Dynasty. Funny story. We met in like a Slack channel back in 2017. And I saw him on Twitter. I was like, dude, is that you? Or no, the Hxro trading pit. He's like, yeah, man. So what's up, buddy? You've been through it. You've been through it all, and you can smell the signs. Yep. Bear shit on FTX has the most bullish chart at the moment. Okay. Oh, cool. You know what? Since I suck at shorting things, I much prefer to be long. Let's go look at some bear contracts. Love that idea. If I get a long setup. Yeah, look at that. All the buying happening down here. I don't know about these. Like, I don't. Yeah, Jesus. Does look good. Oof. Bear shit. Yeah, so if you're looking at an altcoin, okay, great idea though. If you're looking at an altcoin bear market, if that's like what you think is what I just said, that we're just going to kind of like chop and consolidate and wash out for a little bit, which I think we will. Look at DeFi summer, even in a bull market. Overall for 2020, 2021, we had multi-month washouts, and it worked, right? We went to new highs later. Get out those weak hands, build up a base of stronger hands, and then when we get back to those levels, they don't sell. We go higher. It's a 60% gain in like 2 days. That's kind of crazy. This thing's already had gains bigger than what we just got. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Well, fuck. Might have to go buy some bear shit. I love the name. But yeah, like this kind of thing, right? You want to get a little long on the market? This chart looks better than those. Can't hate. God, I want to be a bull. I want to be a bull so bad. I want to be the guy that's like, you know, if we go and squeeze back up and it was all just a bad dream, I want to be the guy that was here today being like, it's fine, we're good. And we all get nice and bullish and long, and then it happens and you go, oh, RT, he knew. But my analysis tells me that we may not get all that. You know, I want what I want, but the market's going to give me what it gives me. So I just got to read it as best I can. But like I said, either way, I just don't see like a 10-week straight down. Complacency. Come on, please. The one risk is like this. You know, did we already have our like M-top complacency bounce to what I'm looking for now and then dumped, and now we're just done? We'll chill here for a bit and then dump. Chill here for a bit and then dump. And we have our own little cycle of whatever. Not to those prices. Don't get too specific about prices. I just mean, you know, I don't know. I still don't think so. Fuck. Let me just preface everything I'm saying, or should maybe wrap up everything I'm saying with, I don't have a effing clue what's going to happen, and nobody you talk to will. But I've shared with you all of what I'm thinking, and I think the TLDR, because I've said a lot today, is that my long setup for Bitcoin retesting these lows is firing, and it's something like this. And so my risk is something like that. Like, it's a big drop. It's a 13% drawdown. And I'd say I'm going to try to ride at least a 3-to-1. So 47, you know, get this bearish flow back. You know, so that's my TLDR. That's the only thing I'm doing right now. If I have altcoins that are down tremendously, horrendously, I don't have any major bags that are super down except for ID. You know, I'm not selling them today. I'm going to wait for some kind of bearish throwback or hold them. I've got the cash positions I think I needed. I'm not going to change that opinion now and risk selling into some deep early spike. The other TLDR thing is like I'm waiting to buy altcoins. Big time waiting. Let that, you know, this needs to clean up before we can get, you know, Bitcoin doesn't need to do well for altcoins to do well, but it needs to not be dying. So that's sort of, yeah, appreciate it, man. Honesty does count. So yeah, that's it. Does this chart look good? Nope. Is this my favorite place to long? Nope. Does this setup make me super uncomfortable? Yep. Am I still going to take it? Yep. And if you ask me right this minute, what do you think is going to happen here? I would say I'm going to lose this trade. But I think that every time I take this trade. Seriously. Every single time I'm like, I should just skip it. And I skip them sometimes, and then they hit. So the good thing about a vetted setup, you've got a bunch of examples, and you know over time when they win, they'll pay more than when the couple times they lose. You know, I just size down until I'm comfortable with it. So that's what I did here. You know, so it's like all in. I'd be like, oh my God, it has to be right or I'm screwed. But instead, I'm just like 4%, 3% risk, whatever. And then the outcome is inconsequential. So I think that's all I've got for you guys today. You know, it is what it is. Did China ban Bitcoin mining, or did they just ban coal-powered Bitcoin mining? Either way, it's kind of good because everyone talks about the centralization of mining in China. And now they're saying, get out, disperse. So it's a really weird thing to cause the downside. I think it's more indicative of the state of the market, you know, not like, oh, that news is so bearish, so we sold. It's like, no, we just had a bunch of really weak-handed holders and bearishness in the market. And obviously, some of that big pocket money that was building a base and helping us move it up and holding the low, like the floor and holding the lows, well, clearly they've switched sides here. There's some big short positions on. There's some, you know, some whaley dumps going on here. This is not like, oh, I sold my lunch money worth of Bitcoin and we dumped the market. I mean, the market is being dumped, likely by people who are behind all of this really weirdly, interestingly timed news that seems to be hitting us. Bam, bam, bam. I mean, what did Biden and Tesla and Yellen and China all get together and just say, this week, this month, we will all FUD Bitcoin? No, But did they all drop that news within a particularly tight time frame that after basically not having too much bad news for like months? Yeah. You got to ask yourself, what's up with all that? I appreciate that, Dynasty. I try to make it easy to understand. Otherwise, it's not very helpful for people, myself included. I think there's a possibility to get to 26K. Yeah, dude, and I think so too. I think there's a possibility to get to a lot of places we never thought we'd see again. That's just the nature of the market. Higher than you think, lower than you think. Higher than you think, lower than you think. And then, here's the crazy thing though. No matter what price Bitcoin eventually goes down to, there's always going to be a crowd of people calling for lower. Don't get caught waiting for lower indefinitely. Pick your levels now. If you haven't bought any here, if you don't trust this level here, this consolidation, and you're like, oh no, but soon, figure it out now. Because on the day you go to buy your level, there's going to be a big noisy bear somewhere being like, no, we're going. Like at 3,200 Bitcoin at the bottom of the bear market, there was this like video that was going around that was about this guy who did this very compelling, I must say. Lots of fractally cool shit. He's like, so Bitcoin will go to 2,100. It never did. And if you've watched my videos, you've seen the breakdown we had. There was signs of reversal, and there was this trade that I am taking admittedly a little prematurely because we're kind of just straight down. I could just wait for something like this. I could totally just wait for do whatever you want to do. Give me a W, give me a breakout, give me a retest, and let's go. I could wait for that. And I will take more size on something like that if we get it. But right now, on the 4 hour or the 1 hour, I'm doing my thing here. Arguably, we already got a breakout. Now we're doing the dip, and then we're going to go. That's still my thinking. I'm sticking to it. But yeah, pick your levels. Pick your levels now. If you say you have a really tough to pronounce looking name, but if you say possibility to get to 26 and you're like, that's where I want to buy, then you probably want to bid 26. Because when we get to 26... Twitter's going to tell you to buy at 12. When we get to 12, if we ever did, someone on Twitter is going to tell you to buy at 4. And then Peter Schiff's going to tell you, don't buy, it's going to 0. So you can't listen to other people. Pick your levels. Stick to your guns. So that's what I'm doing here. After this, I'll tell you this. If we lose these lows, buddy, like in earnest, like if we just drop that whole level, let's talk doomsday. If we don't stop here, if my setup doesn't work, then we are heading to 20K. This will get filled in. And honestly, I still think based purely on this chart, 20K just looks like it needs to be filled in. I thought we would fill it in. I didn't think we'd fill it in yet. I don't know what I was waiting for, I guess. But this kind of stilt, that's like a gap. That's got to get filled in. So, but it doesn't have to get filled in yet, and it doesn't have to get filled in this month or even this year, weirdly. So, yeah. What is that anyways? Is that the reload zone? Well, maybe I'm having a new idea right here on the show. Let's see what is 20K now. 20K. Yeah, 20K is the sweet spot. Damn, 22K. So that would fit a lot of what I do. Do you want to know the last time I saw a stilt like this that I said had to get filled in and was totally in disbelief when it finally filled in? I know you do. That's why you're here. Right here. This fucking thing. And this was the breakout that caused or sparked the 2019 rally where we went all the way up to 14 grand or whatever. And I remember when this happened, I was live streaming at the time for another company, and I did that stream. And I was like, well, this will have to get filled in. And of course, at the time, I'm sitting here drawing my fibs and doing my thing. And I'm like, yeah, this here, I'm in disbelief. It's been a big bear market. We're going to buy back here on the retest. Well, it never came. Or did it? Because over a year later, after a really nice year and a really interesting time and some kind of China news here, this was positive China news. I forget what it was. It was something. And then it came. And when it came, I was obviously not paying attention to this level. I did end up buying that retest I talked about earlier with the little fib, but what a nuke. And that guy that I gave a shout out to earlier, Joshua McGowan, or him, no, I think it was, I don't know, one of the guys at the site guys, Kevin or something, and they were just like, oh, I got my fill. Because they're just bidding these fib levels. They're bidding these 88 sixes. And because when those come in markets, it's usually a good thing to buy if you're bullish on an asset at an 88.6. So, yeah. So do we fill that gap, that sort of stilt? Probably. But it's a matter of when and then in what direction and what comes first. So we either go straight into that, oh my God, and if we go straight into that and we get to 20K, this is the thing though, at this point, I feel like everyone would want to buy 20K. So how does it get there? Because when you have competition over a level, you front run it. Think of all the whales, think of all the big money, think of all the people that are watching their currency get diluted. I mean, the US printing money, none of that's changed. All the billionaires and millionaires and funds licking their chops when this thing went up and getting FOMO and saying, oh, we can't buy. Well, they are licking their chops still. Bitcoin hasn't changed. The narrative around the environment has not been good. You know, there's a lot of pressure right now to be green, and I'm all for it. But that might put a little stick in it, especially if some other store of value currency comes out like a digital version of this. Who knows? But I, for one, think that narrative is very bullish, still around. And so if we fill this, I've got to go all in there, period. I'm not waiting for W, nothing else. I'm just going in. But if we go there, I still think we get our complacency rally of some kind. So that's why I'm longing here. And I've explained that probably like 100 different times in 10 ways, but are we excited yet? Where in Discord can I find your settings for volume profile? Okay, my settings for volume profile are just normal, except for, oh, no, they're not. Let's go look. Well, fuck it, I'll show you right now. We'll do it live. So the style, I changed a little bit. Obviously the colors, my POC, my point of control is just a little thin line, gray, because the big red bold one is just kind of aggressive. Width of the box 30, and I think I changed this row size. I don't know what it starts at. But you can change, like, yeah, I think it's something like more like the bars originally, but I like giving it like a little more, like, just looks like noise now. It's a little more specific. Yeah, there you go. Are we going for 20K? Yeah, that's the big question, man. If I look purely at that chart, and when we had that breakout, and I did think to myself, oh, we're going to have to come fill that out. That could be like the capitulation low if we're going to keep going down. But there's some OGs in the space that I know and trust that basically said, no, this is just some China FUD shit. It's going to do this, it's going to do something like that, and then we're just going to squeeze up, and then we'll chill down, and we'll go up, and down, and then we're just going to be off to a bull market. And everyone who sat around in cash waiting for 20K is never going to get filled ever. A lot of smart people I know think that. So, and all I know and all I care about is that I have this long setup that kind of fires pretty close to right now. So it's getting to that witching hour where I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. Because you either get filled and stopped or just filled. Aw, sushi swag. Sorry, bro. What do you got? Apparently I'm sticking around. Was it CRV? Curve? I hate to say it, guys. I think all of the coins look the same right now. Poopy. There's no winning here. They all look the same. They all move together. There's some, you know, sometimes like news, developments, this, that, the other thing, they drive one coin ahead of the other and we get some nice separation and there's, you know. But when the market shits, just like when it goes into pure mania, everything up, well, now it's like the opposite, everything down. And as you can see, they all look the same. So I don't know what kind of value there is to go looking through each one. My opinions on each one are kind of the same right now. Oh, Sarko. That's probably why I skipped it, dude. That's a weird name. I don't know, man. Oh, it's on here. Okay. Oh, because it looks good. Well, this is versus ETH. So things could be outperforming ETH right now. I mean, yeah. This looks better than a lot of the other coins we looked at. Sarcophagus. Sounds gross. If I'm being honest, mate, it sounds a little nasty. Let's see what we can get on the USD chart. Wow. Wow, look, yeah, that looks a lot better than most charts. So like, just like Bunny, right? You're gonna find your opportunities in this market, like weird things that are going on. There's gonna be trades to make. But even as a trader myself, I'm like, why not spend time, why not spend time like glued to the market when it's like optimal? and then you got to take your time off when you can. Maybe not take it off my job, but take it off trading actively every day, waking up early, whatever. Because, maybe we find another bunny where we can make 100% in one afternoon, but most likely there's easy money to be made another day. Sarko looks decent. I don't know what to say about it. It's a weird little new coin on Uniswap. Probably expensive to buy, but it's in a zone. Certainly looks a lot better than a lot of these other coins. And that's true for a ton of new coins. So I guess the other thing you can do is go look for new coins that just launched that have, really good things coming up. And then you can decide what kind of like next cycle positions you want to take. I picked up some NAFTA yesterday. You guys know from the stream, I traded it from 5 cents. I got a nice little position out of it. Sold it. And this uptick in volume yesterday piqued my interest. I picked some up at 8 cents. Almost made my double. I was just 2 cents away. And now it's back to below my entry. So, womp womp. It's not a huge entry, so I can add. And it looks like it's trying to carve out, little bottom formation. So maybe we're just doing something like this. And that's just going to build up strength. And that'll be the next one. So coins like this look a lot better to me than, all these other ones we're looking at. To be honest. Yeah. And like looking back at CRV versus Bitcoin, this is probably just going to end up being like a big fat accumulation range where it's like, and however long that lasts, my God, someday. Probably maybe this year, right? And then it's just, so pick your poison. Want to see a really good example of that? Shitcoin, OG to the max. Look at this thing. So this is kind of where we're at, maybe for some of these coins. I mean, bear market, oh my God, versus Bitcoin, not performing well. If you held that coin, you had less Bitcoin. And this lasted till it really took off 344 days. That's 1 year of total death and boredom, while other coins at some point were probably doing okay. Hard to stay in this one. I know some guys that have been bullish on it the whole way through and accumulated some of it all the way through. And then this happened. I forget what that announcement was, but it was something obviously sudden. And it was just like, that was last year in July, right as DeFi summer was in peak heat. And it came up and the rest is history. And then it did it again just recently. So if you can be patient, these kinds of accumulation lows, whatever they are, and then you just want to make sure that's what this is. I think it is. It looks like it is. It's got all the signs, right? Low, 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 nice breakout, nice volume. Big buyers here, not a lot of big sellers. Only one big day of sell volume, which makes sense. It was the other day. Net buying down here. So as low as I can, if I'm holding Bitcoin, here's the other thing, it's a Bitcoin pair. So are you holding Bitcoin? You're going to trade to get more Bitcoin, not caring if Bitcoin goes 20K, 30K, whatever. Then you can start trading it for things like this. And, just trying to get into these lower parts of this accumulation range, this reload zone, wherever that is. And eventually, once all the people that want to sell have sold, there's only buyers left, and some news drops, and you get another rally. And if it's a bear market, or if it's not a big stupid rip roaring bull, you still probably get a lot of these, and then just more down, and then a lot of these and more down. So you can be that kind of trader, but only if you wait patiently for the range lows. And those are not tiny trades. You pick up this 88.6, you can make 200% just to go back to local highs. Bunny just got hacked, so it dumped. Yes. But that's why we're trading it. That's why I'm trading it. Because, yeah. Well, that's why Bunny was such a good trade in retrospect. But even at the time, it was like, there's a hack. Is the token at risk? No. Is the protocol at risk? No. Are all the liquidity pools drained? No. Will they be back? Yes. Do they have over 1 billion TVL still? Yes. And so the reason I chopped myself out of it is because I thought they were going to replace the token maybe. But as soon as they clarified that they weren't, I bought the next dip. As you can see, I got my double off, and now I'm going to wait. because there are more tokens on the market right now, and so the market cap is sneakily much higher than people think, I think. And that narrative could come out. So either this is the dip to buy. I don't think I'm going to buy it, given everything else we talked about. I just want to focus on Bitcoin. But if we do get down into this kind of things, like all the shit I just said, I think Bunny will be an interesting proposition for me as a long trade. NGL is pretty lame, sir. That was me buying because I bought again. Bro, how do you just draw stuff on the chart like that? I don't know what you mean. Like this? Oh, like the drawing tool? Expected it to dump more? Bunny? Yeah, I mean, this is a throwback level. If we want to be real. If we're being real, can get rid of that now. It's an old trade. Let's do a little bunny chart. Eesh. I said to myself I'm going to go for an hour today. Look at me. Just bored. Honestly, my girlfriend's out getting groceries. I don't have much else to do, so she'll be back in a bit. We'll go hang out in the back. Yeah, this is a throwback level. Definitely, you know, if you even want to get real cheeky, take your little reload zone up here. It's probably right in it. Yep. So there's something to be said here. My issue is that it's like, okay, the exuberance of Bunny's not dead was like a big rally. And like the market's pretty bearish right now though. So I think that can cool off. And then I want to see who's really long on the Bunny, who's really interested, you know. And then there's the easy FUD, like they just got exploited, maybe it'll happen again, or like there's a whole bunch of new coins, the market cap's actually 4 times what it was before this thing got hacked, which it is, and that kind of stuff could shake out some buyers. And then, you know, if we get into the bigger reload zone, I really do want some more bunnies. That's down here at like 16 to 24. Tell you my P&L on portfolio if you tell me yours. I'll tell you my P&L on my portfolio. Feels worse, but it says, oh God, it'll drop significantly during this stream, I'll tell you that. But I'm down 5.5% more today. Off the highs, I have to do some math. The highest number I saw on my portfolio versus what it is right now. Ooh, let's see. Since we're all showing dick pics, I am 31% off of my all-time high. This is like, all things considered, could be worse, right? Didn't make a dime on my own short setups on the way down, but that's fine. That was what I talked about at the opening of the show. My one regret. But yeah, 31%. 31% stings. It stings more than 300% up. Feels good. That's the funny thing about markets. The Pope is tweeting Bitcoin FUD. Really? Yeah. I mean, don't be surprised, guys. Like, here's the other thing. Like, fuck, this environmental thing, it's not small. And Bitcoin does require a lot of energy. And we can argue about, you know, but the energy requirements of other things that are shitty also exist. And yes, that's true, but nobody cares about that. You know, you can't be like, well, banks require energy. It's like, yeah, but we need banks. Like, people want banks. Normal people aren't going to buy that. Oh yeah, you're right. We should get rid of banks too. And like on paper, the Bitcoin power consumption is not good. And we are in a sort of like, we're killing the planet pretty fast. Let's be real. Not going to go like preachy environmental, but you know, like we are fucking up the only thing in the universe that we can live on. I, for one, think the benefits outweigh the risks for Bitcoin in particular due to the power displacement that it can do in the world politically and whatever. But that's a tough narrative for people who don't give a shit about Bitcoin to swallow. And so if that becomes unsexy, it's going to be really hard to continue the institutional bid that we wanted. And as Rob pointed out, you know, they don't sit in the boardroom and say, what can we do for the environment? They say, how can we make money? But there's a lot of companies that may maybe want access to our Bitcoin, whatever. We want them to have some. Well, we're going to have to address this power consumption. So if China really did just ban coal-powered mining and they're pushing more for renewables, like that's actually really bullish. And that's the kind of news that could drop next week, and then that's where my squeeze comes in. I really think we squeeze. Like, I really do. It's so unlikely to me that we just go straight down. Even if it's like a doji next week and then the next week after we go back up, that's painful, but it could be that. But how does it just like, we're a bull, oh fuck, we're a bear, and there's no argument about that. There's no debate. It's just straight to bear. I just don't see it. So I think we should wrap there as sort of like all my roundabout thinking today. Obviously, this market makes it hard to, you know, put out a clear thesis. I think for the most part, I've done a good job of that. Feel free to kick me off your buddies list if you disagree. But 20K is like my nuke worst case scenario, and I don't think it's straight from here. I think if we even do, if we're gonna fuck with those levels, it's like that's late, or that's like your ultimate, whatever. But I'm a betting man. I take trades. My setup is long, and I think bull or bear, we're coming back up to here in the next week or two. So we'll get to come on stream next week, and we'll be able to be like, oh man, it didn't, or oh my gosh, it did. That's going to be exciting. Let's come back to studios, because we have one. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always, with you guys over the last few weeks and today. This has been a tough week. You know, if you're sticking around, hopefully today give you a little bit of insight. Went on for quite a while, said a lot of things. So your job is to like pull out some bits of that you find valuable and helpful. Take care, Jonesy. Take care, Scott, Lido, Equinar, Lily, John. Love you too, bro. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. And whatever you do, always play from a position of strength, especially in times like this. This is why it's so important.